Hi students, I want to review the writing guidelines for your personal spiritual formation plan, which is due in week 7. In this assignment, the goal of this assignment is to reflect the principles from the course and implications for your current season of spiritual formation and the sense of call that you have on your life. Formatting will be laid out 1-inch margins, as you can read that, page numbers in the upper right hand corner, and use the title page for this assignment, which you'll see the format in the first page here. And you may use the first person pronoun in the assignment because it's personal to you. Your citation guidelines will be Turabian 8th edition. That chapter 18 author, date, style, and reference list for this assignment come from Turabian's Manual of Style. You'll find the information on that book in your bibliography and your syllabus. For this particular assignment, I'm asking that you use the author date style and a reference list for the list of books that you used in the assignment. The author date style is parenthetical in that you put the author and the year and then the page number after the year in parentheses in the text, and then at the end of the sentence goes the period. So there's no period before the parenthetical citation. The period goes at the end of the parenthetical citation as shown in those citation guidelines. My spiritual formation plan, based on Chandler's 7 dimensions of Christian spiritual formation, briefly describe each dimension and then discuss which dimensions are stronger and which are weaker in your current season of spiritual formation. So as you've read her chapter on that and you're reading her whole book on that, you'll integrate those 7 sections, describe those 7 sections in this paper in your spiritual formation. And the goal then is to say, what is the Spirit saying about this in my life? How is He shaping my confirmation into the image of Christ based on Chandler's 7 dimensions that she believes sanctification, or really the confirmation into the image of Christ, how those affect those 7 dimensions of our lives. This should be no more than 2 pages. Each of these sections has a 2-page limit. The second section is recognizing God's call upon my life. Citing the concepts from your required texts. You notice in especially those chapters in each of your texts that discuss God's call to lead is italicized. What I'm looking for is that you would take the text that you've been required to read for this course and locate those sections that have to do with recognizing God's call in our lives, whether it be vocation or McNeil's 6 subplots or the conundrum of call that Barton is going to talk about. What is burning in your heart? What are your passions? What is the vision that God has placed in your heart? And include in this section where you're currently serving or have served, as in your Clinton reading. Are you serving in a ministry task, or have you been assigned a ministry challenge in which you are responsible for an area of ministry and for perhaps leading those under you? Be able to recognize the call that God has on your life based on the interaction with the texts that you've been reading. I'd like you to cite those texts in this section. Your personal challenges based upon the concepts presented. What does emotionally healthy spirituality look like? Chandler chapter 5 in her emotions chapter, and Barton in chapters 2 and 3, what lies beneath in the place of our own conversion, along with the concepts that I've been presenting in my lectures, discuss the importance of self-knowledge and being honest with ourselves and with God about facing those issues that the Spirit is bringing to light, should be bringing to light, in your personal transformation. This section should be no more than 2 pages. What's important about this is that our confirmation into the image of Christ is a lifelong journey. And so this section is saying, where are you in the journey? What is the Spirit bringing along or bringing out, either through your reading, through where you are right now, in ministry, through the issues of your own personal transformation. As we're learning in this course, that it's so important that we know whose we are. It's so important that we have covenantal confidence in this God who's present in us, who loves us more than we could ever imagine, who's there for our good, who's there for our freedom, that we partner with what he reveals in us to make us spirit-formed leaders. And that may mean facing some difficult issues or bringing us around about again to the same issue that he has been drawing us to look at and reminding us that this hurts us or this has pain in our hearts, and that there's a way out of that pain, so that we become healthy emotionally. We become healthy emotional leaders, healthy or have emotional healthy spirituality. I want to say it that way. This section itself should be no more than 2 pages. And then the final section is partnering with the Spirit. Discuss your plan to partner with the Spirit in this season of your personal transformation and spirit-formed leadership. What has he revealed in your heart through this course? What has he revealed that he wants you to incorporate in your present ministry? Perhaps things have emerged through your reading and you've taken notes and said, I'm going to incorporate that. What steps has he placed, or what has he laid out for you? Or what do you need to do to fulfill the ministry dreams he has placed in your heart? In other words, if he's got a burning passion that he's placed in there, your burning bush, and you've turned around and you looked and you say, yeah, that's me. That's what God's put on my heart to do. What steps do you need to take to fulfill the ministry dreams he's placed in your heart for the sake of the kingdom? I want you to include in this section the insights you received while practicing silence and solitude during your practice sessions, or those heart-shaping questions of McNeil. In this section, I also want you to cite the principles and concepts presented in this course and discuss the concrete steps you'll take in the coming year to partner with the Spirit's work in you and through you. In other words, I don't want you to just generally speak about it. I want you to make a concrete step or 2 in this coming year. What is God speaking to your heart? How are you going to partner with him? And what does that look like for you in this coming year? And this section should be no more than 2 pages. The reference list would be the listing of your books in the Turabian 8th edition style. You'll notice that the date goes after the author's last name, first name, which is different than the bibliographic entry, the bibliography. When you do a footnote, the bibliographic entry is different in Turabian as well. So when you're using the author style date format, the reference list would be your bibliography, quote unquote, but it's the reference list of the books that you use that you cited in the paper. Place of publication and publisher. Formatting, the authors are listed alphabetically, single space with a hanging indent as you see there for the second line. After the reference list, please indicate the percentage that you've read of each of the books in the course, as well as the percentage of video lectures you've heard and the accompanying handouts that you've read. The paper guidelines, the grading guidelines for this paper as follows. It's 100 points, but it's worth 40% of your grade. And it'll be graded as follows. You'll see that each section is roughly around 20 points, 23, 24 points, with formatting, composition, spelling, and the percentage of reading making up 10 points. Some preparation suggestions. I'd recommend that you begin your personal spiritual formation plan writing in week 1. If you haven't, I'd suggest week 2. If you haven't, we're into week 3 now. So I would encourage you to get started on integrating some of the material that you are reading in our discussion questions, your practice sessions, that you can begin inserting your quotes and insights and personal reflections into the relevant sections. That way, when it's time to complete it, you'll have the draft already begun. Our course is laid out topically, and in those topics, they reflect this 4-part paper. So I tried to make it as streamlined as possible for you and as clear as possible so that you can stay current with the reading, stay current with the discussion questions, and when you do, you're actually preparing for this paper as well as preparing for your final, because your final exam questions will be drawn from your discussion questions as well. So if you have any questions about this assignment, which is due Sunday the 28th at 11:59 Central Time, don't hesitate to drop me an email and let me know, or post it in the current week that we're in, and I will respond to you. I'm looking forward to reading your paper and hearing how the Spirit is forming your life and your call to lead. If you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to ask me. God bless you and have a great week online.